And welcome back, everybody, to another brand new episode of the Unhinged FC podcast. If you guys don't know who we are, well, you've been missing out because obviously we've gotten to the quarterfinals and we're on the second day of the first leg of the quarterfinal matchups. So to give you a quick rundown, we like to talk Champions League, and it is made up of myself, Kelsey from the High Low Sports podcast, and the duo of Hector and Edward from the Insert Name FC podcast. Guys, here we are again. We talked about it yesterday. This second leg matchups, these probably big hitters, really. You have Bayern and PSG in the biggest matchup of the game. No Lewandowski for Bayern, and PSG riding super high after Mbappe, well, his dismantling of Barcelona, I think it's safe to say. And the return of Neymar, much to Edward's chagrin, that got Edward into the singing competition as the first member of our trio to be guaranteed to part in there. And then the second game of this one, Porto versus Chelsea, a Porto team who I think it's safe for all of us to assume we did not expect them to be here. Facing Juventus in the round of 16, and they managed to pull out not just a win, but a win in extra time against Juventus. That was an absolutely fantastic matchup, both leg one and leg two. But the end, I feel like the absolute ending to that one was even better than anybody could have hoped, as Juventus tried to make a comeback, unfortunately could not, and Porto still fought them back and held on to win it in extra time. That was an absolutely crazy match.
It really was. And yeah, that was like a story. That was like a fairy tale ending right there.
Yeah. The question is, Hector, did they do it too soon? That's the question.
That is the real question. But this is the Porto Chelsea, man. So here's the thing. Chelsea was praying to get Porto. Praying to get Porto in their drawing. But Porto was also praying for Chelsea. Basically, this is these two got who they wanted, is essentially what I'm saying, because obviously Chelsea didn't want to play against Liverpool. They didn't want to face Real Madrid. They didn't want to face, Bayern Munich, PSG, Dortmund, or Manchester City. They wanted Porto. And then Porto on the other side didn't want them either. So this is like, okay, y'all get each other, and listen, get what you want.
They're basically going for the lesser of all evils. Like, they were going for the quote unquote easiest of the pack.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy that they both considered each other the easiest of the pack. I think it's even their fans. I shouldn't say the teams considered it. I feel like the teams are all just like, bring on whoever, we'll figure it out. Obviously, you have probably a little bit of favorite if you're the managers and the coaching staff, the front office, and the fans. But definitely the fans. I think they all saw Chelsea fans wanted Porto. I think everybody's fans wanted Porto, and Porto's fans wanted Chelsea particularly. And here we are, as Hector mentioned in our yesterday's episode. We thought this thing was rigged, and this just shows you just how rigged it can be when you see a Porto-Chelsea matchup, and you're just like, they both wanted each other. How does this happen? Well, here we are. In the least... I can't think of the word now. The least scumbaggy of all leagues in UEFA and FIFA. They don't do anything wrong ever, right? That's not how they do. But, leaving out.
You don't hear about their crazy scandals and stuff.
Yeah, no, UEFA and FIFA don't have scandals. I don't know what we're talking about. There's nothing underhand.
They don't fix games.
If y'all see my Twitter handle and my Instagram just fall out of the earth and don't hear from me, you already know.
yeah. Sepp Blatter was never a thing. He never rigged games. But anyway, we'll get off that soapbox.
He didn't get paid off by Qatar.
Yeah, nobody did that. God. There weren't several CONCACAF officials that got paid off at all. No. Anyways, yeah. So, goodness, why do we talk about UEFA? I think we could do a whole episode on the scandal that was UEFA and FIFA. I mean, goodness, you talk about it. It's just absolutely crazy. But we won't do that today, guys, because we could literally go off on a tangent for a couple hours, and we'd have to fill a couple episodes with it. And, well, I'll be honest, I don't know if I feel like editing a 4-hour YouTube video on the scandal that is FIFA. Yep. But getting straight into it, guys, as we talked about, Chelsea Porto.
The worst thing now is that Jim's probably like, you guys gonna have to do this now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna get a message from Jim in the chat, just like, all right, so when are you guys planning on doing this 4-hour episode? We're not, Jim. We're not.
It's all hypothetical, like the hypothetical money that Sepp Blatter received to get Qatar.
Absolutely.
Oh God, just look at Chelsea. Okay.
All right, now moving away from hypotheticals into the literals, Hector. Before we go off on we're already 7 minutes into the tangent.
Jim, we're gonna go over. We're going over, Jim.
We're going straight into the literals. Porto Chelsea, as Hector mentioned, Porto wanted Chelsea, Chelsea wanted Porto. Hector, what does Porto have to do to get by this Chelsea counterattack led by a lot of young superstars, but two guys and two German players, two guys that came over from Germany who haven't really done much, even though they were expected to be the big scorers in Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. They're not the ones leading the attack. It's the Mason Mounts, it's the Christian Pulisic's, it's that level of group, and the Olivier Giroud and his random bicycle kick in the middle of a quarterfinal game or in a round of 16 game. Who knew that could happen?
But who would have thought that Olivier Giroud would be the leading goal scorer in the Champions League for Chelsea?
Talk about hypotheticals. But
yeah,
Hector, what does Porto have to do here against Chelsea to be able to get out of this one, leg one victory with a leg up, if you
will? Well, for starters, I mean, they have a big chip on their shoulder right now. I mean, they just literally went up against one of the biggest teams in Italy. And I mean, the big thing is obviously they're the underdogs. I mean, as much as we say that Porto and Chelsea wanted each other, Chelsea is the favorite to go into this game. Obviously, like you said, they got the names, they got the young promising players. They have Tuchel, who just received his first loss against West Brom, which is crazy to think that we're saying they lost to West Brom, but here we are. No, this is a big match. I think they're gonna have to go in there and make a statement, and similar like last time, take advantage of mistakes. This is a young Chelsea team. They're gonna make mistakes. I mean, you mentioned, Kai Havertz and Timo Werner have not been living up to what Chelsea fans expected, and maybe some are now wondering, maybe Bayern Munich had a reason why they weren't going after these two. Because obviously, when you hear young German players in the Bundesliga, usually it's Bayern Munich that makes those moves. But I think obviously just take advantage of the mistakes that you get from Chelsea. Use that inexperience as an advantage, because if there's one thing that Porto does have, is they do have a little bit of experience in that team, and obviously it is one Pepe that is going to be leading that front. So I think it's obviously just be patient, and when you see that opportunity, take it and make sure that they pay for it.
No, that's exactly right. Sorry, I couldn't hit the unmute button on my mic as I was coughing. But no, you're exactly right. They have to take every opportunity to succeed on that opportunity. They have to basically hit 99.9% out of their 7 opportunities they'll get over these 2 legs, and especially this first leg, they might only get 1 or 2. As they are playing in Porto in this leg 1, so that does change some things. But Edward, moving over to you, what is Chelsea? I mean, obviously we talk about Chelsea having the bigger names, having this counterattack, having all these superstars available to their need. N'Golo Kante is still there. I mean, you talk about it, they have all the talent on the books. But what do they need to do to succeed on the field is the question against this very, very heavy and strong defense that Porto is going to bring out against them?
Well, for one, like Hector said, and Pepe is going to be the one leading the pack, and with Pepe leading the pack, you already know it's going to be a very physical game, very contact game. But I think if Chelsea can somehow control the midfield, because they got that dude Sergio Oliveira. He's been playing real good for Porto. So, and then they got Tecatito. That's one dude who I know plays really well. As a Mexican player, I admire him. He has really good ball dribbling, and he has an eye for goal. I want to say, like he does everything he can. He's a playmaker, so they're gonna have to kind of stop him there. So as long as Chelsea can control the midfield, they are actually capable of doing something right. And like Hector put it out there as well, I mean, Timo Werner will probably, this will be the game that he'll shine where he hasn't brought out that light of himself. Same thing with Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz has done his little moves here and there, maybe like 1 or 2 games, 3 games, but Timo Werner has yet to appear as that game changer that they so desperately need up front for Chelsea. And I want to say you can't just put Pulisic and Ziyech, to do all the work. You need that one
There's
top
gonna be no
player up
Pulisic
there.
because he has another hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he will be out again with a hamstring injury yet again. Picked
Oh,
up
joy.
in U.S. men's national team duty. So
And it got worse at the West Brom loss.
yeah, exactly. You talk about Timo Werner, and I feel like Chelsea fans would love for Timo Werner to finally break out. However, he has played 37 matches all year between the Premier League and Champions League for Chelsea, and he has a whopping total of 8 goals.
yeah, that's what I'm
You
saying.
know
Like
what?
he has to.
I think Bayern Munich was onto something when they didn't choose to bring him in.
No, that it's a good point that you bring up, but I really feel that if somehow Timo can actually find the net at least 3, 4, or 5 times during this match, which is asking for like a hell of a lot out of this kid, but maybe he's the one to do it. It's possible. He's that type of player. It's just he has yet to do it in English Premier League, Champions League. He hasn't, like we've said, he hasn't shown any of that promise. But maybe with Porto, all of a sudden he'll be the hero. He'll be the one to bag in, like, let's say in both matches, 5 goals, push them to the end. However, like I said, Chelsea needs to control the midfield in order for Timo Werner to be able to do that. They have to be able to feed him the balls. They have to control that midfield. Because if they lose control of that midfield, that's it. Chelsea's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, no, that is a very good point. Now, I do just want to point out, if he does happen to score 5 goals over 2 matches, he will have tied his output from the Premier League alone this season, as he's played 29 matches, only 5 goals. However, I mean, to be fair to him, his Champions League record right now, 8 matches, 3 goals, so not terrible, but if you're signed to be what Timo Werner was signed to be, you're expecting that to be like 8-5, not 8-3. And yeah, that's the big rough one. But if he does manage to score 5 goals over 2 games, I mean, that Chelsea obviously would have a fantastic turn of events, and well, maybe we finally saw the comeuppance of Timo Werner. It just took a angry Portuguese defender that he needed to attack in Pepe. But going straight into it, we'll get into the predictions now, guys. Hector, we'll start with you. How do you have this one finishing leg 1? And remember, it is in Porto. I should just a reminder.
You know what? The thing was for me with Chelsea, they still haven't been scoring as much as I would have hoped to see. And this was like an issue from the Atletico Madrid matchup as well. So that's still a concern. I mean, yes, Olivier Giroud has been scoring goals, but he's leading the team in Champions League goals with only 6 goals. And that's only in 5 appearances in the Champions League. So he's not really making those appearances. But I will say, if I see Olivier Giroud up front, I feel like I'm very confident in Chelsea. And that just depends who comes up front. And I think Olivier Giroud should be the guy up front. And if he is the guy up front, I think Chelsea comes in with a 2-0 win.
Yeah, as you mentioned, 5 matches, 6 goals this year. After last year going scoreless in the Champions League play, whereas in Premier League play, 14 matches, 4 goals. So, Olivier Giroud does look good in Champions League games. He seems to know how to play against other nations with teams. You talk about the World Cup for him and how he was just a very fitting piece for France there. And now here in Champions League play, he's having a fantastic year Champions League-wise too, against other countries' teams. But Edward, what about you? So we have Hector's prediction. What about you, Edward? You going Chelsea? Or you going Porto on this one?
On this one, it's pretty tricky. But and you said they're playing in Porto, the first leg.
Yeah, they're playing in Porto.
I'll give it to Porto. 2-0.
Okay. Wow. You left me speechless. I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting a 2-0 Porto. But then again,
Bold strategy, Cotton.
To be fair to Porto, we all predicted them to have zero effort whatsoever against Juventus, and they won.
Yeah, we
2-0.
thought they were going to be like, yeah, we were all going at
6-0, 5-0, 4-0.
You were the one that had the most. I think it was like 5-0, 6-0.
Yeah, no, 6-0. 6-0 was Hector's prediction.
And I stand by it to this day.
Can't
change my opinion.
A very strong 6-0, if I do remember correctly. He was just like, yeah, I like your 3-0, Edward. I'm going to go 6-0. And that'll be that. And I was just like, what? And here I am at 2-0 thinking that was a bad pick. And, I was the nice one of the group.
I stand by that prediction.
All right. Well.
Can't change my mind.
You know what? I'm just going to go right down the middle here and say this is going to be a draw. And it's going to be an absolutely ugly draw. But Olivier Giroud does score a goal. And it's going to be 1-1 draw. It's going to be just like that.
Safe pick.
So, yeah, I feel like for all of my picks, I should just pick safe and go about it that way. We'll see. But that'll be my pick for this one as well. 1-1 draw as Olivier Giroud does net another goal and proves that he's the better striker in Champions League play than Timo Werner. But I won't say better striker overall because I don't even believe Olivier Giroud is the best striker on that team. But he's proving it to be this year. So we'll get right back to it, guys, after a short break to hear from our sponsors. And when we get back, we will talk Bayern Munich versus Mbappe and this PSG team. But we will be right back.
What's up, everybody? It's Kelsey from the High Low Sports Podcast. If you missed the brand new news, we have partnered with Fanatics.com. So if you're in the market for a brand new t-shirt, brand new hoodie, brand new jersey, no matter the team, no matter the player, no matter the sport, Fanatics.com is your place to stop. Not only does this help support our podcast, but it helps support the entire Unhinged Sports Network. Check the link in our bio or go to unhingedsn.com. I'll be having DJ at the High Low Sports Podcast. See ya. What's up, everybody? It's Kelsey from the High Low Sports Podcast, and we recently partnered with Fubo TV. What is Fubo TV? Fubo TV is a service to broadcast live TV over the internet, no cable required. Watch your favorite teams, network shows, news, and movies on over 100 plus channels. You get channels like CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox. You can watch all the games. So go ahead, click that link in our bio, and get started on your 7-day free trial. And stay tuned to some more great programming right here on the Unhinged Sports Network.
And welcome back, guys. As you just heard from Fanatics and Fubo TV, our network sponsors. Again, we were just discussing a little bit more on this song, getting ready for this singing bet. If you guys missed our singing bet, obviously what it is. When the guy who gets his team to the Champions League final doesn't have to sing. However, Edward is already number one on the list as Barcelona fell to one of the teams we're just about to talk about, PSG. So he is on the docket for singing. And Hector and I face off with the Liverpool and Real Madrid match that went on yesterday. As we get ready for this end of leg one right here, the wrapping up of the matches of leg one. Bayern Munich, for all intents and purposes, everybody's favorite. However, they lose the machine that is Robert Lewandowski, who just knows how to score in the purest sense of the word, scoring goals. He just can do anything, and it'll go in. As he is out for the next 5 to 6 months, I do believe. At least for the rest of the season, he will miss. So that's a big hole for him. You obviously lose a machine that is Robert Lewandowski. You get a huge penalty. On the flip side of things, PSG having a Marco Verratti for sure being test positive with COVID-19 will miss this leg, guaranteed. Actually, probably will miss the entire matchup. But he's the only one confirmed as of right now. There are some more that are potential confirms. They are still going through the testing. So we'll see if this changes by Wednesday. We don't even know yet. But here we are. Bayern Munich, everybody's favorite, versus PSG, the guys who absolutely dismantled Barcelona. And because they dismantled Barcelona, Edward, I want to start with you on this one.
Oh, jeez.
What did you see from PSG's attack? Obviously, they did that without Neymar in the dismantling of Barcelona. They did that without Neymar. They get Neymar back here, and he will be playing for this PSG team. What does PSG have to do to unravel this mystery that is the Bayern defense and score enough goals to win them this game, this leg?
Well, I mentioned this in earlier times, and basically the main key is Mbappe. He is the one, like you said, the one thing that can unravel that defense. He can just chop them up real nice, like, and everything. They don't have somebody like that in the Bundesliga to face off. Somebody like Mbappe. And then I was actually reading an article where Mbappe
who is Erling Haaland?
No, but that's the thing. I'm talking about a chopper. Like he will break ankles and stuff. Haaland does not break ankles. He's just like he is to me a fast cyborg machine, tall, powerful.
Haaland will break ankles. He'll just break ankles by running you over.
Exactly.
More so
But
than dancing around.
Mbappe will break your hips. He'll pull that Leroy Sané move that he did. I forgot on who, where he just did like one little feint, and that was it. The dude was on the floor. But that's the thing. Mbappe is just on a whole nother level. And I was reading an article that he tells himself in his head that he's better than Messi and Ronaldo, and then he even acknowledges that's not the truth. They are amazing. He's like, but I just tell myself when I hit the pitch, and I've been on the same field as Messi and Ronaldo. He upstaged Messi in the Barcelona match. Pretty sure without Lewandowski there, he can upstage anybody. As long as he has Neymar to feed him the ball, Di Maria, if need be, Paredes, to feed him the ball, he can do it. I feel that Mbappe is the key that PSG has to unlock the Manuel Neuer the Manuel Neuer back door, pretty much.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I think Mbappe is. I think it's safe to say in a game without Lewandowski, Mbappe might be the best overall player on the pitch. Come the game time, I feel like that's safe to say right now that Mbappe is just playing otherworldly. But it's the question mark of whether anybody else on that team decides to show up. Neymar specifically, whether he decides to show up. And Di Maria, you kind of always know what to get with Di Maria. He's going to burn up and down the sidelines, hit you with a couple passes here and there, try some stupid midfield ball that somehow lands on somebody's foot. But other than that, I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot more from Di Maria that often. Maybe a couple nice free kicks here and there. But for the most part, he stays more central midfield nowadays. He doesn't actually get into the attack as much as he used to normally, unless it's to dish off to Mbappe for an easy goal. Now, flipping to the other side of the attack, Hector. Lewandowski, like I said, the machine that is Lewandowski, the goal-scoring machine. How does How does Bayern Munich replace Robert Lewandowski here? There's already been rumors that he moves on at the end of this year, maybe next year. But is this obviously Bayern's not ready to deal with him being gone? How do they deal with this? How do they overcome him being gone and the just awareness he brings in the attacking end?
I mean, Robert Lewandowski is a big loss for them for sure. I mean, but they did come off of a big win against RB Leipzig, a very good defensive team in the Bundesliga, kind of solidifying themselves in to be the top dog in the Bundesliga, and that was without Robert Lewandowski. And I think it's the fact is that once again with Robert Lewandowski, this team is invincible, but it is still a very, very stacked Bayern Munich team because you still have Leroy Sané, you still have Kingsley Coman, you still have Goretzka, you still have Mueller, you still have Joshua Kimmich, you still have Javi Martinez, who I still keep forgetting that he's still on the team.
Leon Goretzka, the goal scorer from Leipzig.
Yep. This is still a very, very potent Bayern Munich team. And it's just because of the fact that they can literally buy whoever they want, whenever they want. And that's basically what it is. And I mean, maybe they don't necessarily have their replacement for a Lewandowski, because I mean, I think Lewandowski is a once-in-a-lifetime type of player. But they have guys that could definitely fill in the role till they do find their guy. Or till Lewandowski gets healthy, either way.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's enough talent on this team that you can figure out a way to handle it until a guy like Lewandowski comes back. I'm trying to think of the young guy's name that they have playing strikers, but it looks like they went actually with Mueller versus Leipzig, and as you mentioned, Leroy Sané. As Edward even mentioned, he is an absolute stud. Coming
And
up
then
and down those
let's
wings.
just remember this is a rematch from last year's Champions League final, where PSG couldn't even beat Bayern Munich at their worst. Bayern Munich was not playing great, and they still couldn't beat Bayern Munich.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And by the way, it was Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting that actually replaced Lewandowski in the starting lineup. My apologies. But yeah, so you look at that, and Choupo-Moting obviously isn't the guy that Lewandowski is. He does provide some good hold up, but he won't be the guy that's scoring goals. But let's be honest, with Bayern, as you mentioned, they're invincible with Lewandowski, and without Lewandowski, well, they're just shy of being invincible, because nothing else on that team changes other than the fact Lewandowski's there. So it's still deadly from top to bottom. I mean, let's be honest, and you still have the sweeper keeper back there, the god that is all gods of keepers, if you will, in Manuel Neuer, because he's just that good. But getting into the predictions, Edward, we'll start with you. How do you have this one playing out? You know, Bayern Munich, obviously, like we said, without Lewandowski, and on the flip side, PSG with all that attacking force if they decide to show up. Who do you have pulling this one out in leg one, and what do you have the score being?
Well, this one's it's gonna be a tough one without Lewandowski to be like. Usually, I would be like, oh, Lewandowski's gonna score like a hat trick, and then it's gonna be Bayern Munich all the way. But this one, I'm not taking away anything from Bayern because, like Hector stated, they have some badass players. But I have a feeling it's gonna be I guess you could say like a safety match. Like they're just gonna be like, okay, let's see how far this goes. They're gonna try to see if they can actually stop Mbappe by not fouling him. Neymar, same thing. They're gonna try to see if they can hold him at least, press, and they're gonna play the way Bayern playing in order to attack as well. I mean, they're gonna try to keep a lot of the ball. They're gonna be playing in a very smart way. Something that I feel that's not gonna be dangerous, as in like go ahead, all out attack, and then start doing those crazy ass counter attacks kind of shit. Like they're gonna just try to play very, very conservative, even though that's not their playing style. But it's just I just have this feeling that even PSG is gonna do the same thing because they're gonna be trying to feel out. They're going to be doing those, how Hector stated earlier, or he stated in the previous podcast. They're going to it's just going to be one of those games where they're going to just be like, let's feel it out, let's see how it goes, and I think it's going to be a 1-1 for me.
All right, very interesting. Keeping up the fact that PSG has only failed to score in one of their last 43 games in the Champions League, so they continue to score yet again. So that'd be very interesting. Last time, by the way, if you guys didn't know, the last time they did not score a goal in the last 43 Champions League game was in the final last year, where they lost 0-1 to Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich.
Yep. So a little bit of history there. And now, Hector, obviously, what about you? Where do you have this one going? Do you have it a draw, or do you have this one going strongly one way or the other?
Oh man, I think Lewandowski. I think this is a different PSG team from last year, and that's crazy to think because I don't really think they did any big changes. I think almost exact. I think this is the same PSG team that was in the final. I think Lewandowski's a big loss. I think that takes a lot of power out, especially because I don't think people say it enough. PSG has a really good backline. Like, I mean, it's not something that's said very enough. Maybe I've mentioned it a few times now in our previous episodes, but this backline is really good. And I mean, like we said, Lewandowski makes his team invincible. Without him, they're just a really, really good team. And I mean, on the other side, you have Kylian Mbappe, which and we've all stated this is the future guy. This is going to be the guy that we're going to be talking about winning the Ballon d'Or along with Erling Haaland, and that's a big X factor, man. And I mean, granted, Bayern Munich has also a very solid backline, but I just don't know how long they can contesting against Mbappe. I think this is such a different team, even without Neymar and all that. I think PSG makes a big statement here and they come out with a 2-0 win. Actually, no, I'll say 2-1 win.
Okay. And to your point on this defense, I do believe their starting defense. Obviously, you have Kimpembe and you have Marquinhos, and they kind of rotate their wingers. You have Kerr, you have Diallo, and you also have Kurzawa that play in that defensive roles. All of them have had over 20 appearances this year alone, so they've all played their fair share of games. And that's not to mention also, a sneaky good guy in Juan Burnett. So if something happens and they do get a lead and they need to throw in another defender out there, Juan Burnett definitely knows how to play that role, especially as like a deep lying CDM. So I do like that idea of PSG making a statement as well, because that defense, yeah, they're very good. Marco Verratti, though, not being a part of that team, it does hurt. I will be honest. That is a painful one right there. But so yeah, so we got one going a draw, one going PSG. I don't know if I can go Bayern though. I'll be completely honest. I do think I'm with you, Hector. I do think that PSG is going to make a statement, but I think Bayern has enough to tie it up. But I'm going to go with the draw, but it's going to be a 2-2 draw. It's going to be a very high-paced scoring game. And it's going to be kind of surprising because you talk about Leroy Sané and how good he is down that wing. When he's on his game, he's nigh unstoppable. And then on the other side, Kingsley Coman has just been playing absolutely fantastic this season. An absolute stud on that wing. Literally just slot somebody in there who can get in the right positions, and you have a deep-lying Thomas Muller who can come in at that second runner. You're going to get goals from the wings either from that exact setup. And Bayern has done it since Thomas Muller has come in as that quote-unquote super sub or deep-lying second striker. They do it fantastically, more than I've seen anybody else. So I do see this 2-2, but I do think Mbappe does make a name for himself in this game. I do think he does score both goals. And it would not surprise me if one of these is like he picks it up in midfield, takes on a defender, and then blows by everybody else for a one-on-one versus, Manuel Neuer, and, takes Neuer on and scores that way, because that just seems like something Mbappe would be able to do. And as Edward mentioned, he's a superstar in the making. He's a guy who wants to be better than Ronaldo, wants to be better than Messi, and tells himself that. And that's what you need to do if you're going to be that level of player. So I do think he makes a name for himself, but I have it a 2-2 draw. And with this one being in Bayern, that is a big deal for PSG because that's 2 away goals. You take a whole goal advantage, basically, when you go back home to Paris. It's going to be very interesting. But,
yes,
it does it for us today, guys. We'll if you guys want to take a moment, let everybody know where to find you, since we didn't do it on yesterday's episode. We got it on time. But today, let everybody know how to find you guys on the Insert Name FC. And, what time you guys' episodes now come out. Because as I mentioned in yesterday's episode, you guys left me on Thursdays. You no longer intro into our shows on Thursday. So let the people know where to find you.
Well, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at InsertNameFC. You can now catch us on Fridays at 12 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Dang, I'm way off on this. But yeah, 12 p.m. Eastern time now. Because we love Spencer and we want to make sure we can make his job a lot easier than we already make it for him. But yeah, so yeah, catch us once again on social media at InsertNameFC on Twitter and Instagram.
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry, Spencer. I don't mean to give you crap, but you guys left me on Thursday, so I had to find a way to replace you guys. And unfortunately, I had to do that by starting another network collaboration. If you guys haven't already heard, we have a new baseball show that just came out, High Heater Podcast. It is myself leading as host, much like I do here, and joining me on the panel is Jim from J-Dash Show and also Network Commish. And then you have Jimmy from Far Into the Bench and Mitch Kaminsky from the Dorm Room Dispute Podcast as well. They all join me, and we do a weekly roundup every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time is when it is. It's because it follows right after my episode, so I have to remember when my episode ends. And the High Low Podcast, obviously, that's the one I started on. That's my baby. And that one starts at 2 p.m. Eastern time every Thursday. So be sure to check it out there. And at
highly recommend High Heat. I did listen to it. Yes, you guys took some shots at my baseball team, but we kind of deserve it. But anyways,
Yeah, I guess it's worth mentioning you are an Astros fan, so we did give you guys a little bit of heat.
a little bit.
A little bit of heat.
A
I mean,
little
I
bit.
didn't in the recorded version versus the actual uncut version. It's only a little bit of heat. And with that said, if you guys don't check us out, by the way, Unhinged FC comes out on YouTube as well as all the other network shows. We put them out on YouTube as well. Those come out the same day as this, so this will come out Wednesday. And right before the Champions League games at 2 p.m., we will release the episode onto YouTube as well, so that you can check it out there. That way you can see our beautiful faces, or you can see my reactions every time Edward said something like Timo Werner's about to score 5 goals in 2 games.
But not in the first leg.
But not in the first leg. No. He's going to have Porto winning 2-0 in the first leg.
As you can tell, these
Get
guys
ready for that 5-0
making fun of
victory
me.
for Chelsea. All behind
absolutely.
Timo Werner.
And then also, guys, be sure to just check us out on Twitter. As a whole unit, we do have a Twitter handle. It is It is at Unhinged FC on Twitter. So be sure to check us out there.
Hector's roasted me today.
Yeah, Hector's been sending out some fire tweets, and then also, he got roasted today for some Arsenal loving. It was well worth it. Well worth it. Worth all the
also
smoke.
Sergio Ramos news.
So, guys, be sure to check us out on all the platforms and all of our broadcasts as we continue to give you all this Champions League news. But until next time, guys, we'll see you.